Right, so hi, today I will be presenting for DCN TB1063 Data Communication and Network, our group project for implementation of network protocol. In this case, we have chosen SSH or Secure Shell Protocol. So this is our group members. Firstly, Muhammad Harif, and secondly, Muhammad Shakir. So we start off our report with the literature study of RFC 4254, which is the Secure Shell Connection Protocol. Uh, this RFC basically explains the standard protocol for SSH or Secure Shell Protocol, which they explain the client-server architecture, the authentication methods, the encryption algorithms, the message formats, implementation guidelines. Alright, so I'll be reading it. Firstly, the client-server architecture is based on a client-server architecture where a client initiates a connection to a server overnight. The client and server negotiate various parameters such as encryption algorithm, authentication method, and compression settings before establishing a secure encrypted channel. Authentication method provides several methods for authenticating the client to the server, including password-based authentication, public key authentication. The host-based authentication, password-based authentication is the simplest method. Encryption algorithm. SSH provides several encryption algorithms for protecting the data transmitted over the network. Symmetric encryption is used to encrypt the data using a shared secret key. There's also MACs, which message authentication codes. And next is the message format. SSH protocol uses various types of message to communicate between the client and server, including connection establishment message, authentication message, data transfer message, and connection termination message. Each message has a specific format and purposes, and the protocol defines the behavior of the client and server in response to each messages. And lastly, implementation guidelines. RFC provide guidelines for implementing the SSH protocol in software application with an emphasis on security and interoperability. It also recommends that developer implement mechanisms to protect against various types of vulnerabilities, such as buffer overflow attacks and denial of service attacks, or commonly known as DDoS attacks. Moving on, we will go to our methodology. Our implementation of this protocol is carried out in a series of manners. We will explain everything we have done accordingly. Firstly, the software that we use is OpenSSH. OpenSSH is pre-installed in most Linux and Mac OS systems. To install OpenSSH on Windows, we can use OpenSSH client included with Windows 10, or install a client like PuTTY or Bitwise client. The configuration file for OpenSSH is located at etc sshd-config. This is mainly on Linux and Mac OS, or in Windows it is located in C drive, program data. We can modify this file to change the default settings of the server. Usage. The primary usage of OpenSSH or SSH in general is to enable secure remote access and management of network systems such as servers, routers, switches, and other network appliances. By using OpenSSH, system administrator and developer can securely connect to remote system and perform various tasks such as remote terminal access, file transfer, port forwarding, X11 forwarding, and automation. To connect to a remote server using SSH, we need to have the IP address or hostname of the server and a username and password or SSH key. We can use the SSH command to initiate the connection. The basic syntax of the command is, as you can see here. So I will give an example. In this example, to connect to a server with IP address 192.168.1.100 and username Harif, we can use the following command: SSH Harif at 192.168.1.100. And then if the server requires a password for authentication, it will be prompted to enter the password. Next, our demonstration. We use Kali Linux in this demonstration, as you can see here. Okay. Alright, so this is basically Kali Linux that I ran on VirtualBox Oracle 2021 version. So we mainly use everything in this terminal. I enlarge it for better view. Okay, so we can start and see Open SSH status using the terminal, which I will show you how here. You can use the sudo service SSH start. Since I just rebooted the system, I can start and it will prompt for my password. Alright, we'll just wait for a few seconds, I think, for it to start. Right, so there, I think it's running. We can check it with using SSH status. So we can see here that it is active and running, and we can see the time 8 seconds ago. Yeah, starting secure shell server. Right. Then we can go into the C directory and open SSH, and we can then use the nano command to open the configuration panel here, as you can see here. I will show you that just in a moment. Oh, my bad. Here, you can use the cd etc /ssh, and we can list out what is in here as ssh config here. Then enter. Using the sudo nano code sshd. There. This is the terminal for configuring the SSH server. As you can see here, there's port 22 and permit root login, which I set to a password, prohibited password. Port 22 is the default measure for SSH, so you can exit using Ctrl+X. Then you can create a key, and then you will be prompted for a passphrase or a password, and then but you may alright, before that, note the following, that port 22 is the default port and permit root login is to permit root login via SSH, but you will still need to remember the public key or password to access the system. So you can create the RSA key with keygen trsa, which we will then be prompted to enter your passphrase, so you will need to remember the passphrase for later. And then next we can check with I'm using config ulano here. If ulano, just waiting for a few seconds. You can see that this is the inet here, or we can also use IPA. Shows everything, highlighted version, ETH, ulano, inet. There, I'm using this. So then you can use this to do the connection, from which I use Windows as usual. Use command prompt. We can check the connection with the server using the IP and ping it. Wait, there. We got data received and transmitted from the host. We can stop it using Control C. Yeah. Right, and then after you which in this case I use SSH Kali at 172.2.9.162.73, which I got from VLAN 0 at port 22-B22, which is main port 22. You will then show like this, which means that I successfully connected to the server, which then it will prompt for a password which you have set in the RSA key here. Then from that point you can do anything, basically anything. You can move file, you can do what the command allows you to do. Alright, so the discussion is from the methodology is creating an RSA key is an important step in setting up a secure SSH connection. With your RSA key successfully created, you are able to remotely access a computer or server using SSH. This provides many benefits, including the ability to securely manage and administer remote system, transfer file, and perform other tasks that require secure communication over untrusted networks. One important consideration when using SSH is to ensure that you are using a secure and reliable method of accessing the server. This may include using a VPN, firewall, or other security measure to protect your connection and prevent unauthorized access to your system. And finally, the conclusion of our report here. SSH is an essential tool for secure remote access and control of computers and servers. It provides strong encryption and authentication mechanism, ensuring that any data transmitted over the network is secure and cannot be intercepted by unauthorized party. Additionally, SSH allows users to secure transfer files and remotely access and control a computer or server, making it an invaluable tool for system administrators and developers. As you can see, during our implementation of SSH, we successfully created an RSA key pair and used it to remotely access a computer, which in this case, the virtual machine. This demonstrates the importance of taking the necessary steps to set up a secure SSH connection, such as creating a public-private key pair and ensuring that the server is properly configured to allow SSH connection. Overall, our successful implementation of SSH highlights the importance of using secure remote access tools to protect sensitive information and prevent unauthorized access to computer systems. By following best practices and staying up to date on the latest security trends and techniques, we can continue to use SSH and other security-related technologies to keep our system safe and secure. That's all from us. Thank you.